Welcome to this next class of dielectrics. In the last class, we have learned about what are dielectrics. In this class, we are going to find out some important derivation for this dielectrics. In the last class, we have also learned about what is polarization. We saw that when we put a dielectric between two parallel plate capacitors or between two metallic plates, what happens to this dielectric is it will get polarized. The positive and negative charges, whether they were present initially or not present initially, will now get separated. As a result, the dielectric will now have a polarity, or it will have a separation between positive and negative charges, and then we say that the dielectric has become polarized. You can see in the example that there is a dielectric in between. There is a dielectric, this is the dielectric, it is in between two parallel plate capacitors or two metallic plates. These two metallic plates have positive and negative charges on them. So when I place this dielectric in between, the charges get separated. Whether it is a polar dielectric or non-polar dielectric, the charges will get separated, and as a result there will be polarization of this dielectric. In the last class, we have learned what is polarization. Polarization, as we know, is equal to, or polarization is dipole moment per unit volume of that dielectric. Dipole moment per unit volume of that dielectric material. Polarization is for the whole surface. Dipole moment, when we talk about, is for individual molecules. Now what we are going to do is we are going to try and find relation between polarization and polarization charges, density of polarization charges. Now as you can see, once we introduced this dielectric, the charges will be there on the surface. These are polarization charges denoted by QP. Try to understand this differentiation. There will be polarization charges or induced charges, and there will be free charges. The charges that are formed on the conductor are called as free charges. So on the conductor we have free charges, let us say Q. On the insulator, that is the dielectric, which is placed in a electric field, we know that there will be a charge separation, and this charge separation will produce or induce charges on the surface. These charges on the surface are called as polarization charges. These are polarization charges. And what is density of polarization charges? Density of polarization charges is polarization charges divided by area. Amount of polarization charges per unit area, that is the density of polarization charges. Now the symbol for that is sigma p is equal to polarization charges divided by area of that dielectric material. We know about this surface charge density. It is the same, but it is for polarization charges. Now polarization, we have seen that it is dipole moment. Polarization capital P is equal to dipole moment that we denote by small p into dipole moment divided by volume. Now volume means, let us write this as dipole moment volume means area into length. For that slab which we are talking about, the volume will be length into whatever that area is. So dipole moment, we can say dipole moment will be equal to polarization into area into length. Let us say this is equation number 1. Now we have one equation for this dipole moment. Another way to define the dipole moment of the slab, we are talking about dipole moment of the slab. This is also dipole moment of the slab. We are not talking about individual dipole moments. Dipole moment of the slab also can be defined as charge, polarization charge into length. That is the normal definition of a dipole moment, charge multiplied by product of charge into length. Now what is the charge here? The charge here we can find is QP. So this QP is nothing but surface density into area. Surface density of polarization charges into area. So charge will be sigma P into area into length. That will be the dipole moment of the slab. So there are two ways to say dipole moment of the slab. The dipole moment is equal to P into A into L. Also it is also equal to sigma P into A into L. So from equations 1 and 2, what we can write is polarization into A into L is equal to sigma P into A into L. Now we can cancel the common terms and polarization will be equal to surface density or density of polarization charges. This is the relation between density and polarization. Density of polarization charges and polarization. So what is the relation that we have derived? That polarization is equal to surface density or surface charge density of polarization charges. Now let us consider the next point. In this point we are going to see how to apply Gauss law in presence of dielectric medium. In the previous class you must have learnt about the Gauss law, but the difference is that in the previous classes we were considering the medium to be vacuum. The charges or two charges were separated at a distance, but the medium between them was vacuum. Now what if there is a medium between them? For example, water or air. Now most of the mediums can be considered to be as dielectrics. So now let us see how to apply this Gauss law in presence of a dielectrical medium. For that we are going to consider two plates. On these two plates there is positive charge and on one plate there is negative charge. Now we know that the Gauss law for the medium between them is vacuum, free space is there. We know that Gauss law is electric flux through this imaginary area that we have taken, PQRS. This is an imaginary closed surface area. The electric flux through this, that is integration of E into ds, is equal to charge, the net charge inside this surface divided by epsilon naught. Now the charge inside this surface is the charge which is present on the metal plate. These charges are called as free charges, whereas the charges that are formed or induced on a dielectrical medium or dielectrical substance are called as polarization charges. Try to remember this differentiation between free charges and polarization charges. So this is what is Gauss law in absence of any medium, that is in free space. Let us name this as equation number 1. Now if we integrate this area, we know that it will be A. This is the area of that imaginary surface, PQRS. So we have EA is equal to Q upon epsilon 0. Therefore, we know that E is equal to Q divided by A epsilon naught. Let us say this is equation number 2. Now, this electric field that we are talking about is perpendicular to this imaginary surface that we have taken, as shown in the diagram. It is perpendicular. And let us name this as E naught or E0. So E0 is equal to Q divided by A epsilon naught. Now what we are going to do is we are going to see what happens if I introduce or change the medium. Initially free space was there, that means vacuum was there. This is the equation for electric field as obtained from Gauss law. Now what will happen when I introduce some medium in between them, especially a dielectric medium? Let us see with the help of this diagram. Now as you may remember, once I introduce a dielectric medium between this place, it is going to get polarized. The positive and negative charges are going to get separated. These separated charges are called as polarization charges, denoted by QP. And the charges on the metal plate are free charges, denoted by simply Q. These are the free charges, and the charges that are developed on the the dielectric are polarization charges. Again we will consider the same closed surface area, PQRS. The electric field will change now because we have introduced a dielectric medium. Now the net charge is also different inside this PQRS. If you consider this area PQRS, now the net charge inside this surface, is Q minus QP. The polarization charges will be in less quantity, as you can see in the diagram, as compared to the free charges. If they become of equal quantity, then they will cancel out each other. There will be no electric field, but that does not happen. So the charges on the dielectric medium will be less. So we have the net charge as Q minus QP. Now let us apply the Gauss law again. We know closed surface integral E into ds. Now this E is the new electric field. It is not E naught. E naught was the electric field in absence of any medium, whether it is conductors or insulators. E is the electric field in presence of dielectric medium. So EDS is equal to net charge. Now net charge we know is Q divided minus QP divided by epsilon naught. This is what is Gauss law. Let us name this equation as equation number 3. If we solve this, we are going to get EA is equal to Q minus QP divided by epsilon naught. So E is equal to Q minus QP divided by A epsilon naught. Let us name this equation as equation number 4. So we have two equations now. One is for electric field in absence of dielectric, and one is electric field in presence of dielectric medium. Now what we want is, we want the Gauss law to be in terms of free charges. As you can see, the Gauss law in presence of dielectric includes the free charges as well as polarization charges. Now practically these polarization charges will be difficult to find and difficult to measure, and we want a little bit modification to the original equation, that is closed surface integral E naught or EdS is equal to Q, where Q is the free charges divided by epsilon naught. So we can easily calculate what will happen when we introduce different dielectric mediums. So now what we need is relation between E and E naught. Now to understand this, try to understand what is happening. When we introduce, let us take the two plates again. Let us say here we have positive charge and here we have negative charge. The electric field is from positive charge to negative charge. Now there is no medium in between. But once we introduce some medium, that is a dielectric medium, there will be induced charges or polarization of charges, and we will have this charge density on the dielectric medium. This also creates an additional electric field. As you can see, it is from positive to the negative charge. Let us call it EP. Now the net electric field between the plates, the net electric field between the plates will be E naught minus EP. As you can see, they are in opposite directions, so they will subtract. So this E, net electric field, will be less than E naught. That means what is going to happen when we introduce a dielectric medium between the metal plates is that electric field is going to decrease. So we can find a relation between them. How? Let us see. As you may have all learned about refractive index. As we know, refractive index of a medium is equal to velocity of light in air divided by velocity of light in medium. As we know, when light travels in different mediums, its velocity decreases. Velocity in air we can approximately take as 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. When it will travel in different mediums like water or oil, its velocity will decrease, and refractive index is ratio of these two velocities. So how does this refractive index helps us? If we want velocity in that medium, what we have to do is simply divide this velocity in air that we all know by refractive index of that medium. This refractive index, as we know, is a constant. So velocity of light in that medium we can easily find by using this refractive index, which is a constant. Same way, as velocity decreases when light travels in a medium, electric field also decreases. Electric field also decreases when we introduce a dielectric medium, and the net electric field or the electric field in presence of dielectric medium is equal to E naught divided by K. This K is a dielectric constant. K is a dielectric constant which is similar to refractive index. Similar to means it is not equal to. I am just giving an comparative example. The work that refractive index does for velocity of light or to find out the velocity of light in different mediums, same work is done by this dielectric constant. This dielectric constant will help us to find what is the electric field in presence of that particular medium. We can also write K is equal to E naught divided by E. So what is this dielectric constant? See, it is similar to this refractive index. What is refractive index? Refractive index is the ratio of velocity of light in air divided by velocity of light in medium. Same way we can define this dielectric constant as electric field in free space divided by electric field in presence of that medium. So try to understand the similarity between them. Like refractive index is different for different mediums, dielectric constant is also different for different mediums or different insulators. The insulators are identified by this dielectric constant. So now we have a relation between electric field and electric field in presence of dielectric and electric field in absence of dielectric medium. That is, electric field in presence of dielectric will be equal to E naught divided by K. Let us call this equation number, I think so it is 5. Now this relation we are going to use. Let us see how. Now E we have got Q minus QP divided by A into epsilon naught, whereas we have got E naught is equal to Q divided by A epsilon naught. What we want to do is we want E in terms of free charges, not this Q minus QP, because this Q minus QP is very difficult to find. So this relation we will use. So E we can write as E naught. E naught is Q divided by A epsilon naught divided by K. So this Q A epsilon naught into K, which is the electric field in presence of dielectric, will be also equal to Q minus QP divided by A epsilon naught. Now as you can see, we can cancel out lot of terms. We can cancel area, we can cancel this epsilon naught, and what we will get is Q minus QP is equal to Q divided by K. Q divided by the dielectric constant of that medium. Now we will substitute this value in the Gauss law. So we have got E is equal to Q minus QP divided by A epsilon naught by applying the Gauss law. So we can replace this Q minus QP by Q into K, and other things will be same. A into epsilon naught will be there. So E will be Q divided by K into epsilon naught. So Gauss law we can write as closed surface integral of E into ds, this is for dielectric, will be equal to the free charges divided by this K into epsilon naught. What has changed? Initially Gauss law was equal to the net charges. Now it is equal to the free charges, net free charges divided by not epsilon naught but K epsilon naught. So whenever we have a dielectric medium, how are we going to apply this Gauss law is we are going to take the ratio of Q divided by epsilon naught, but we are also going to divide this by K, which is dielectric constant, and we can easily calculate the electric flux or electric field. We don't have to go through all these calculations. We don't have to find Q minus QP or the net charges. We have to only know what are the free charges. If we know the net free charges inside that surface and the dielectric constant, we can find the electric field in presence of any dielectric medium. So this was the Gauss law for dielectric medium, presence of dielectric medium, and the relation between electric field in vacuum and electric field in presence of dielectric medium. Thank you.